Recording.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Thursday. So happy to have all of you here. Let's just take a nice deep breath together. Begin by just breathing life into our lungs, breathing grace into our lungs, and into our whole self, every part of us. And as we take deep breaths, we begin to sense something, almost like the fragrance of flowers. The most beautiful bouquet we've ever experienced. Take a deep breath and see if you can sense that beautiful fragrance wafting closer and closer. And as you do, know that what you sense, what you're smelling, is grace itself. Grace, like the scent of flowers. Filling your lungs, filling your whole self. To me, this is the closest I can come to describing what grace is. That it's the emanation of the beauty of God, the beauty of love, that we can recognize and sense not with our eyes or our hands or other physical means, but it's something that we can't see, but we know is there because we sense that fragrance. It's something that eludes many of our senses, but our sense of smell recognizes it. And so this emanation of the fragrance of love is what we seek today. And to know that it's all around us every moment. But we have to make the choice to recognize. And just as with everything else, we recognize it through and with each other. By being willing to see one another and to know one another as we are seen and known by God. Because that fragrance, that grace envelops us all. It defines us all. It is who we are. So the grace of God shows us who we are. So that being said, why don't we turn to our daily word, which is all about grace. Here we go. The grace of God is always at work in my life. So we'll sing this together. The grace of God, always at work in my life. The grace of God, always at work in my life. Sing that with me. The grace of God, always at work in my life. The grace of God, always at work in my life. It's always at work, even when I don't realize it, even when I choose to not recognize that divine scent. Still, it's there. So let's sing it a few more times and see if we can touch that. The grace of God, my desire. Your peace abounds wherever I am. Your holy fire inspires me and lifts me to where you are. Here we go again. The grace of God always at work in my life. The grace of God always at work in my life. The grace of God always at work in my life. The grace of God always at work in my life. In my life. The grace of God is always at work in my life. Many times, I think of God's grace as something amazing that happens at a time of need. However, grace is so much more than this. It is in and all around me every single day. Grace is God's unconditional love in expression. When I read something that uplifts me or I take part in a spiritual activity, I am immersed in grace. Anytime I receive an unexpected blessing or kindness from someone, I'm being touched by the grace of Spirit. When I pray for others, help someone in need, or show my appreciation, God's grace is expressing through me. As part of my divine identity, grace is part of me, mine to freely share as perfect love. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God. From Ephesians. So, feeling that unconditional love in expression, let's just sing that one line a few more times. The grace of God always at work in my life. The grace of God always at work in my life. The grace of God is always at work in my life. The grace of God is always at work in my life. Is always at work in my life. Is always aware in my life. The expression of divine love, unconditional love. That's another beautiful way of understanding grace. Once again, something that is emanating from the essence of love. We sometimes struggle to identify or think about what God is because we always want to personalize things because we think that we're persons, that we're people. We think that we are individuals, so we want to make God an individual out there somewhere. And that's just natural, and that's what we do. So we can use that if we want to understand a bit more fully what this God thing is, if we just think of it as love, the essence and the entirety of unconditional love that is always present, always radiating, always emanating. And that grace is the radiation. So whether we think about it as the scent of flowers or the heat that comes from a fire or the expression of unconditional love, it helps us to feel it. If we recognize that it's an emanation that we can receive, that we can enjoy, and that it's always there. I think that's the key. It's always there. But we need, if we want to enjoy it, we need to become the source of that. It always seems to come back to that one teaching. You have to be the source of that which you have been sourced by. Because you can't recognize that you have something really until you give it away. And you can't give away something that you don't have. It goes back to that beautiful prayer of Mother Teresa. When I'm hungry, give me someone to give a drink to eat, to feed. When I am thirsty, give me someone to give a drink to. When I am cold, give me someone to keep warm. I can't give something to someone unless it's mine to give. And if we're holding back that emanation, then we can't really know it, can we? But if we can be the source of that which we have been sourced by, then we recognize, we know, we feel that gift that's been given to us. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in loving that we are loved. So that's really the key. It's really the only secret we need. Give it away. Be the source. Love one another as you are loved. There's no need for us to make it any more complicated than that. Just focus on giving. As we know, the ego has a very different focus. The ego's focus is on getting. And that's why, as I often say, both the ego and the soul have a mantra. The ego's mantra is, I want. The soul's mantra is, I am. I am that because I have extended that which I have received to everyone I meet. Therefore, I am. And I recognize that I am presence within me. So all we have to do is to really, I hate to say this, but use our brothers and sisters as the awakener of that grace within me. Using my brothers and sisters, all that really means is I'm going to use Ravi or Bethel or Romy to be the source, to give this gift. Whether they choose to receive it or whether I give it silently and they never know, it's not that you have to go around and hug every stranger or look them in the eye and say, I love you. You could do that if you want. That might be nice. But it's what they don't ever have to know, but they will feel. If I'm just walking down the street just blessing everyone that I meet, I'm extending grace to them. And the more I extend that grace to them, the more I feel it myself. We've talked about that before. It's the most simple, practical, easy way to begin to feel that radiation. Go out and just bless everyone. Become a blessing machine. Everyone you see, just extend them like as if they are the Christ, because they are. Everyone you meet, the high, the low, somewhere in the middle, doesn't matter. Know that they are the extension of the love and the loveliness of God. And give them that. Give them their due. And you will receive that as well. If you've ever tried it, it's almost like magic. You go out for a walk or whatever you're doing, even if you're just sitting meditating and you're thinking, whoever comes in your mind, bless them. see the Christ within them, know who they really are, because God knows who they really are. And if you choose to know who they really are, then you are practicing the same. You are acting as God in their life by knowing the truth of who they are and giving them that unconditionally. That's grace. And that's activation. You are activated by that. And we all want to be activated. No one wants just to be a lump, unactivated. We all want to feel vibrant and awake and alive and to feel the activation of grace in our lives. Well, this is how we do it, by being the source of that which we have been sourced by. Everyone you meet is the perfect whole extension of the love and the loveliness of God. So give them their due. Nothing really matters but that. They can be, in the perception of the world, the best or the worst. It doesn't matter. Give them their due. Give them love. Okay, Vicky, if you're out there, I'm going to turn it over to you now because I know you'll know right where to take it. Good morning, dear.
Good morning, Brother James Francis. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. What a beautiful gift of grace the whole reading is. But Jimmy, I want to remind you today, it's one of your other favorite lessons in the course. I feel the love of God within me now. This is the one. Forget this course, forget this book, come with wholly empty hands unto your God.
Favorite paragraph, yes.
Yep, favorite one. So, and it's back to back with the peace of God is shining in me now. These two lessons together would be enough. Instead of talking about forgiveness and healing and everything else, the remedy is right here. And you know how you talk about feeling all the time. This is one of the lessons that just focuses on feeling the love of God within us now. And I'm going to read you one little sentence from it because it's so perfect. Because the choice is given you. But learn and do not let your mind forget the law of seeing. You will look upon that which you feel within. That's it. You will look upon that which you feel within. If hatred finds a spot in your heart, you're going to see a world of fearful images, and you're going to keep projecting more and more. If you find the love of God in your heart, you will feel that love and you will see it all around you. And it's like we do have to prime the pump. We have to be willing to love sometimes where we don't want to love. But in the experience of feeling love for a stranger, a dog, a person, someone that we don't like, it primes the pump of feeling love. And all love is God's love. And when we feel it, we radiate it, we emanate it. And in the Bible, he says he makes the crooked places straight. That's what grace does. It takes all the crooked places in our life, and when we step into them, they've straightened out and they become our blessing instead of our curse. It's the same thing as saying forgiveness. By grace I am healed, by grace I live, by grace I am released. Feeling the love of God within us is opening up to that love that looks like grace when we look out into our day, into our lives. And as we love one another, when we want to solve a problem, instead of looking at the problem, the grievance, the anything, look at the love that we can tap into. And by staying in the love of God within ourselves and giving it to one another, the problem, it expels itself like a stone. It expels itself. It pops out of us and falls away, and understanding is made clear. Another line Jesus says is, forgive and you will see it differently. Forgive and then you will understand. Live in the love of God. That's all this is saying. Live in the love of God. And by grace, whatever the projected self-hatred is that we saw outside of ourselves, whether it be in a country, in a person, in a body, will somehow be harmonized by grace, but that's not ours until we practice it. That's why this is all about experience. And it's not about reading more theories and understanding concepts. It's about, okay, no matter what, I'm going to feel and rest in the love of God, and I'm going to bless everyone, whoever comes in front of me right now. Just do it. And don't, it's when you were talking the other day about the loop of thinking, don't let your mind wander into the loop of thinking. That's a loop of misery. Who wants to be miserable? Let your mind rest in the love of God. And when you don't know what to do, go out and bless, or think of who you're thinking of and simply bless them. Living in the experience of feeling the love of God heals everything, body and soul. It does it, but it doesn't do it until we let it do it within us and for us. That's all I got to say. Thank you very much, Brother James.
I love when it's just like simple and to the point. And you know, you said something as well, Vicky, that I don't know if I heard this right or not. I think you intended to say, go out and bless everyone. But what I heard was go out and bliss everyone. And I like that even more. Go out and bliss everyone by blessing everyone. And you will be blessed. And don't we all want to be blessed? Wouldn't that be the greatest thing, to just walk around constantly blissed? That's what I want. I mean, why not? To walk around feeling the radiation of that grace by giving it away, by being the source of it. Something else that you mentioned, and I'm so glad that you did. I think we need to read my favorite paragraph from A Course in Miracles, because it makes it so simple. All it's really saying is, here's all you have to do. Just do this. You don't need every other page in this book. You don't need all of these chapters, and just do this. So let me pull it up here. In fact, I'll put it up on the share screen so you can all see it. So here it is. I'll get it nice and big for you. Simply do this. Be still and lay aside all thoughts of what you are and what God is. All concepts you have learned about the world, all images you hold about yourself. Empty your mind of everything it thinks is either true or false, or good or bad, of every thought it judges worthy, and all of the ideas of which it is ashamed. Hold on to nothing. Hold on to nothing. Do not bring with you one thought the past has taught, nor one belief you ever learned before from anything. Forget this world, forget this course, and come with holy, empty hands unto your God. Come with holy, empty hands and give everything. Give it all away. If we want to keep it that simple, we can. There it is, right in front of us. We just have to give. And for some, that means giving possessions, money away in support but for all of us, whether we're called to do that or not, for all of us, we're called to give it all away in terms of our love, our bliss. We're back to bliss. So, Teddy, would love to hear what you want to share.
Well, you know, the truth is, I'm not feeling very graceful, as a matter of fact. So I don't know what to share. You know, I was at a meeting last night and I was anything but graceful.
I can't even imagine what that would look like.
But, you know, I keep on looking at the whole situation, and, you know, one of the things, there's this thing in the course also, and what it says is some of your greatest failures are actually your biggest successes. And you don't know what anything is for. So I'm just sort of trusting that, you know, whatever went on last night, I really don't know what it was for. And, you know, I'm going to have to apologize for what I did, But I think something good would come out of it somehow. Um, and it is true. It's like, there's truth is a disruptor in this world. When you discover the truth, it disrupts everything we know, everything we thought, and everything all plans that we ever had, which is the whole point of what you just read. Come wholly empty-handed unto your Father, because you really don't know and you don't need anything, being everything and being one with that. And then everything flows, and it is by the grace of God. That's it. At some point in time, that's it. There's a moment where, just by the grace of God, the fact that I could screw up means that I'm still created whole and perfect, and know I screwed up because I know what wholeness and perfection is somewhere inside of me. And that wasn't it. So we all know the truth about ourselves. And we all know the truth of who we are and our brothers are. And it's just a matter of, taking a moment, pausing, and letting it all go. Our thoughts, what we think is happening. And in that moment, something new is born. And it's born by the grace of God each and every moment. God's grace is really all there is. And that's really all we want. And let all things flow from that. I needed to remind myself of that today.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all grace. It's all of it. And even in those moments, and we all have them, where we look back and say, maybe I shouldn't have said that. That's okay. That's fine too. Because as you said, the ability to recognize that means that I know what love is. I know what grace is. If I wasn't able to recognize the fact that I had a misstep, then I would truly be lost. I would not ever be able to recognize that grace. But the fact that you know, and then you noticed, okay, I did something that I may have to apologize for. We've all been there. We'll all probably be there again. But to recognize it and then to humbly just submit to grace. Humbly submit to grace. Humility is always the key. We keep coming back to that. Not thinking, I've got this. The moment we think we've got it, it lets go of us. But the moment we just relax and surrender, it grabs hold of us again. So just live in the grace. Come with wholly empty hands unto your God. Baraka, you have your hand up. We always love to hear from you. So what would you like to share?
Good morning, everyone. I was thinking about screwing up and what a blessing it is. Not for the screwing up, but for the ability to be able to see it, be able to look at a section of the film that I'm watching on my screen and say, that was not what I would call perfection. And the wonderful gift of my brothers for being there for me in my moment of screwing up and allowing them to teach me the lesson that I need to learn. Every time something happens on my screen in front of me, I know that it is a gift that I have asked to be given to me through Holy Spirit. And I am thankful, not for the screwing up, not for the idea of fault, but simply for the idea of knowing that it is a gift, whatever form it may take. It is a gift I have asked to be given to me for the purpose of learning. And my brothers who are reflecting that gift back to me are an incredible blessing. And all the time that I am here in this dream is no longer a sentence of eternal damnation, but simply a a gift of being able to reach for the key that holds the jail that I'm holding myself in. I am the jailer. I am the jailed, and I have the incredible gift of that I'm giving myself through my brothers of knowing how to unlock that gate and walk out into the freedom of God's grace. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Baraka. No one goes to a gym and then lays down on the bench with just a bar, no weight, and goes like this 1,000 times. It doesn't do any good. You're there in the gym to be challenged, and you will know that you have done well if your muscles ache afterwards. If your muscles aren't hurting after you go to the gym, you didn't do it. You didn't work very hard. You're not going to begin building up your muscles. And it's the same with us. All of these things build us into grace itself, our ability to welcome grace. Next week, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be spending the whole week hearing from some of the Stoics. I don't know if you know who the Stoics were. We talk about Stoicism or being Stoic, but the Stoics, it's an ancient school of philosophy, primarily from Greece and Rome, and it's phenomenal stuff. And I just want to just kind of prime the pump by reading one little bit that comes from Epictetus, I think is how you say his name. He was a great Greek Stoic. He said, "The true man is revealed in difficult times. So when trouble comes, think of yourself as a wrestler paired with a tough young buck. For what purpose? To turn you into Olympic class material." To turn you into Olympic class material. So, when these challenges come, welcome them, because this is just your opportunity to grow, to strengthen, to appreciate more the gifts that have been given to you. So next week we'll go into a few more people like Marcus Aurelius or Seneca, some of the great Stoic teachers. And it's the reason I want to do that is because I've been reading them myself, and it's like A Course in Miracles 2,500 years ago. They're saying really the same stuff that it says in A Course in Miracles, or unity teaching, or all of the new thought, all the stuff that we think is new today. They were talking about the same stuff 2,500 years ago. So we'll enjoy some of that next week. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, for being part of this beautiful, holy family. All of you here at Namaste, all of you at Namaste. Why don't we go ahead and bring our prayers